Hyperforce, go! Fighting any evil thing as Megatron's home.
Hey everyone, MeltingMan234 here, and welcome to another episode of Forgotten Media, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of. And this time I've got a special guest for this subject. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Konnichiwa, everyone! This is Gianna1, also known as Gianna Forever, and it's great to be here on this episode of Forgotten Media.
Indeed, and today we'll be taking a look at a show that we both remembered known as Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go!
Try and say that 10 times fast.
This was an animated television show that was created by Ciro Nilly and premiered on ABC Family and Jetix on September 18th, 2004. This was a show in the US and the artwork was done by the Answer Studio, a studio known for their work in making their version of anime, and it's interesting that the show also aired in Japan as well.
So basically it's similar to Teen Titans and Transformers animated. It looks like anime, but it's not. Now, let's talk about what the show is about.
In the distant future, a planet called Sugazoom resides as one of the few planets living in peace. Sugazoom, eh? Are the people on that planet hyped up on sugar or something?
I don't think so, to be honest. I guess it's a random name that the creators of the show came up with for the city.
One day, a boy named Chiro wanders into an unexplored region of the city and discovers an abandoned super robot.
He wanders inside and pulls a switch that awakens the robot monkeys that rest inside, along with gaining the power of primate that gives him some unique powers. So he is declared as the leader of the Super Robot Monkey Team, protecting the planet from the evil forces of the Skeleton King and many other threats.
For the main cast, we have Chiro, a young teenage boy who becomes the leader of the Hyperforce. He is a bit cocky and full of himself sometimes, but as the series moved on, the character matured as well. He wields the power primate, which can give him incredible strength. He also pilots the torso tank driver of the super robot, and he is voiced by Greg Keeps, the same guy who does Beast Boy from the Teen Titans animated series.
Sparks, also known as SPRX77, is the comedian of the group, taking upon himself to lighten up the mood with wisecrack jokes, even if it's not necessarily appropriate. He pilots the right fist rocket and is easily the best pilot on the team. He wields two magnets that can move various magnetic objects, as well as create balls of magnetic energy. He's voiced by Corey Feldman, who is known during the 1980s with the roles in two of the Hollywood films, The Goonies and Gremlins.
Mr. Hal Gibson, or just Gibson, is the more scientific member of the team, while wielding his drills that can dig underground or shoot some energy from them. He pilots the left fist rocket of the super robot, and he's voiced by Tom Kenny, mainly known for his many roles in voicing, such as the voice of SpongeBob.
Nova is the only female member of the Hyperforce, until Janae joined them later on. She's the best hand-to-hand fighter on the team, and she pilots the Right Foot Crusher Cruiser. Her main weapons are her robo-fists, and with them, she could easily crush her foes. She has feelings for Sparks, but she kept it a secret until the last episode of the series. She has a short temper, and she has a tomboy personality. She is voiced by Kari Wahlgren, who also did the voice of Susie Johnson from Phineas and Ferb in... Wait a second. She also voiced as Rain Sage from Tales of Symphonia. Yes! Moving on?
Otto is the engineer monkey of the team. He's a bit dim-witted, but he's still funny, and his ability is his energy saw, slicing and dicing enemies. He controls the Right Foot Crusher Cruiser of the super robot, and he is voiced by Clancy Brown, known for voicing Dr. Cortex in most of the Crash Bandicoot games, and the voice of Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. Which is no surprise, because every time I hear Otto, he sounds exactly like Mr. Krabs.
Antari is second in command of the Hyperforce, and is the wisest member of the group. He pilots the super robot's head, known as the Brain Scrambler 2. His main weapons are his ghost claws, and he was voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, who also did the voice of Captain Gantu from Lilo and Stitch. Since Antari is wise, the team tends to look up to him, and even sometimes goes to him for advice.
The super robot itself is a giant robot equipped with powers and abilities, and sometimes has a will of its own. It can divide into 6 vehicles, all driven by a member of the team. And we also have Jimney, a girl who can transform into a giant robot since she is a robot. She is voiced by Ashley Johnson, and she is Chiro's love interest in the series. which is odd seeing a human boy going out with a robot. It's almost as weird as seeing a chipmunk going out with a cyborg.
Duh, but I think it's cute. Janae is also cute. If there's a plush doll of her, I would buy it and take it home with me!
And I will say that the actors Greg Keeps and Ashley Johnson have always been with roles with love interests. Not sure if it's a coincidence or if they really like each other in real life. As for Sugazoom, the citizens have their own personalities, like a man who works at a hoverburger restaurant, an old man who talks about the end of the world coming.
And then we have the guy who always carries around a stuffed penguin named Mr. Cheapers.
I'll bet Ari would love to carry around my giant shadow plushie anywhere.
I hate you.
Anyway, now let's move on to the villains of the show. There are too many villains to count, so we'll only mention a few. The first being the Skeleton King. He's an evil undead creature who plans on conquering Sugazoom and destroying the Hyperforce while sending his minions of Formless or other creatures to do his bidding. It's like they decided to turn the Horn King into an anime character. He is voiced by Mark Hamill, mainly recognized as the actor who plays Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars trilogy. So, it seemed like he did succumb to the dark side after all. But either way, Skeleton King is badass. Assisting him is the TV monster. He is Skeleton King's second body, who leads his army while seeing what's going on throughout the built-in-the-TV monitor. Kinda reminds me of Iborg from Twice Upon a Time. Later on in the series, the character would be given a whole new upgrade, now called the Skeleton King Droid, and continues to be a threat to the Hyperforce.
Mandarin is the sixth monkey who used to be the leader of the monkey team. And he is orange, which explains Chiro's outfit. He was voiced by James Hong, who did the voice for Professor Chang from Teen Titans. He wanted to not only protect Sugazoom, but to rule it as well. His teammates, however, did not like this idea and banished him to an off-world prison called the Hostile Outlaw Observation Prison as a result. He remained asleep there until Skeleton King woke him up.
There's Valina, a skull sorceress who wields the power of dark magic with nightmarish ghouls and zombies by her side. She mainly becomes the main villainess in Season 4, as she begins her mission in resurrecting the Skeleton King. And finally, there's Lord Scrapperton, Grand Earl of the Mecha Realm. He was a man who was obsessed with machines, metal, and all that sort of stuff, and soon became a machine himself. He's a collector of gears, springs, and so on, and having a fetish of saying TikTok almost every time he ends a sentence, or in the middle of a sentence. He's pretty cool, especially when he's voiced by the mighty Python veteran Eric Idle.